Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. So my name is Jason and I'm a prop trader, and I'm always looking at the news or the chat, what's going on in the prop trading industry, just so I can give you the latest updates and tell you what's going on. So before we get going, if you are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button and make sure you give the video a nice big thumbs up. It really helps out. So we're at the beginning of the month and a lot of prop firms now are actually doing an analysis on all of the trades to tell the traders how much profit they've made and therefore what they expect as a profit split. But I'm seeing a lot of people starting to complain about the prop firms not giving them what they believe, or they're actually challenging their actual trades for the month and saying they're using trade copiers or EAs which are not allowed and are banned by them. So it could be that the traders have a real genuine gripe and actually haven't broken any rules, don't have an EA, don't have a trade copier, and miraculously have placed similar trades or the same trades at the same time as somebody else running particular EAs and copy trading programs. Or it could be that they just literally have been found out, they don't want to be accused of cheating or breaking the rules, they want the money they believe they were owed, and therefore just kicking up a real stink and just saying all the bad things and just literally trying to trash down the reputations of the prop trading firms. So if we are using EAs and trade copies, we really need to stay within the guidance and guidelines laid out by the prop firms. And I know it's not always easy, but they are clearly defined in the FAQs, and if you've got any questions or queries, please email and ask them. Now, when I was running a funded talent elite account, I did have an EA. I asked them if I was able to run it, and they said if you've created it yourself and it's not bought by anybody else or being used, then yes, you can go ahead and use it. Now, many years ago, I was working with a broker and I clearly asked them, do you support EAs? Because it was on a MetaTrader platform, and they said, yes, no problem at all, we support EAs. Now, I'd gone out and purchased one called FAP Turbo, and at the time that was getting massive reviews and huge returns on everything. It was working on a scalping strategy based in the ASA session, so therefore the volume was low and was able to get in and out quite easily. Now, after about 3 or 4 days, making between 3 and 5% per day, I had a call from the broker and they said, we've seen the EA you're using and this particular EA is banned by us and you can't use it, so please stop using it immediately. They allowed me to keep the profits I'd made up to that point, so therefore I'd actually redeemed the cost of the actual robot, but they wouldn't allow me to trade with it in the future. So they're able to see by the detailed logs and records that it's done by a trade copier, either via magic numbers or via comments listed actually on the trade itself. So it's very easy for them to see it, not always so easy for the trader. Now, it feels like they're changing the rules to suit themselves, but also if you think this happens in everyday life. So this is not too dissimilar to going to a casino and counting cards. It's not illegal to count cards in a casino, but what it is, you're not allowed to use external aids. So if you, for example, go to a particular table, you take it over, and as a group you are then counting cards, being very profitable, the casino is well within their rights to come along and ask you to stop playing, ask you to remove from the casino, or put a betting limit on so you can't go and wipe them out. It may seem really unfair, but those are the rules and that's what we all have to stick by. Now, if you go back to Las Vegas in the 1960s, if you were found counting cards, the chances are you were taken to the car park and given a severe beating. Luckily, things have changed since then, and even in the prop industry now, all you're likely to do is be told you can't trade with us anymore. Let's take a quick look at the websites and the FAQs of some of the leading prop firms at the moment and see what they say about EAs. So the first one here is from Funding Talent. It clearly says, Funding Talent relies on the diversification of risk in order to ensure the company is not overexposed. Now, obviously, if they've got a huge number of EAs all running at the same time, therefore they could end up with a massive exposure and paying out to a huge number of traders. So for this reason, Funding Talent restricts the usage of expert advisors and trade copying software. If a trader does intend to use an EA or bot, it must be based on the trader's own strategy or copy trades from the trader's own account. So therefore, you can use a trade copier. If you have another account on MetaTrader, you could copy it from that one onto another Funding Talent account. Otherwise, EAs or bots will result in account suspension. And I think that's where people are really getting confused. They are using trade copiers and using EAs. They're trying to get around the rules. So you're only permitted to use an EA if it's not copying another trader's strategy. The EA must play trades according to live market conditions. Now, it could be that because we're working on a demo account, that can sometimes lag live market conditions. Therefore, you could have an EA robot scanning through and finding discrepancies and placing very, very quick trades based on that. And again, that is a breach of the rules and you can be suspended. So for me, with Funding Talent, they're very clear on what their EA and bot strategy is. It has to be your own and it can't be copying somebody else. So FTMO is a little bit more ambiguous, and it does say that you are allowed to use EAs. You can trade in whatever style you like. It says if you intend using trading robots, expert advisors, Keep in mind that if you use an EA from a third party, there might be other traders already using the same EA and therefore exactly the same strategy. By using third-party EAs, you potentially run a risk of being denied the FTMO account if you exceed the maximum capital allocation rule. I think what they're trying to get to here is that a lot of EAs use a martingale management system. So if you lose one trade, the next trade is actually double the lot size. Then if that loses, you double lot size again. So eventually you will get a winning trade because you can't have losers all the way through. But by that point, you could be at such high massive exposure, you don't have the leverage to place any more trades. So here we have the prop trading. Are EAs allowed? EAs are allowed, but please note, even though we allow EAs, you cannot trade multiple accounts connected via copier executing identical trades simultaneously. So what I'm trying to get here is if you have multiple accounts on multiple challenges, they must all be independent of each other. You can't copy your trades between those. Now, if you get fully funded and you've got three $200,000 accounts, for example, you can amalgamate them all into one and therefore run a trade copier on that one. But you can't run it on multiple accounts. If you violate EA rules on funded phase, your account will be ceased and the agreement will be terminated. It's very clear there. They have a zero tolerance policy on EAs and breaking their rules. So is copy trading allowed? Copy trading is allowed from your own account to one of our evaluation program accounts. So therefore they can see that things are being copied across, but it's not across multiple accounts, it's just from you to another account. So you cannot place the same trades manually or via copiers on two or more accounts, and therefore their risk management team will identify that, and again you will be suspended and kicked off the evaluation program. So there you have it. Each of the prop trading firms, although they allow EAs and trade copying, every single rule is different for every single prop firm. I would say if you are looking to use these, please have a chat with them directly, contact the customer support team and see what they say. You do not want to fall foul of their rules and end up, let's say, a month down the line into a funded account and therefore violation of one rule or multiple rules and have all your profits wiped out. So I hope this video has been of some use to you. Let me know in the comments below if you are using trade copiers with any of these prop firms and if you've had any issues. See you again soon. Cheers.